I stepped into the family gathering, and instantly the scent of Auntie's cooking wrapped around me like a fragile, comforting memory. Warm bread, roasted spices, sweet cinnamon, all mingling into a fragrance that reminded me of childhood evenings, laughter spilling from that tiny kitchen. But today, it felt like a trap. As I carried the tray of her homemade pies, I could hear the snickers first, sharp, cruel whispers slicing through the air. Grandma's recipes belong in a trash can, not a kitchen, one cousin hissed, and my hands trembled. Every laugh hit me like a physical blow, and I gripped the platter tighter, feeling the fragile crust threaten to crumble under both weight and humiliation. Then Uncle's voice cut through the murmurs, dripping with sarcasm. Who even eats this stuff anymore? It was loud enough for everyone to hear, and it echoed in my ears like a hammer against glass. I could see Auntie standing in the background, her eyes, normally bright and twinkling, now glimmering with suppressed hurt. Her lips pressed tightly together, forcing a polite smile that failed to hide the tremor in her hands. I remember vividly the moment one of them knocked a pie to the floor, sugar and dough splattering across the carpet. The smell of burnt sugar and shame clung to the air, a tangible symbol of every insult she had endured. My throat tightened as I heard distant relatives chanting, mocking, homemade, more like hopeless. Each word was a punch, and yet I couldn't stop watching, my heart pounding in helpless fury. Auntie turned and retreated into the kitchen, the door slamming with a soft thud that reverberated through me long after the noise faded. I knelt beside the fallen pie, gingerly touching the warm dough, tasting the bitterness of humiliation mingled with the faint sweetness of cinnamon. In that moment, a promise formed in my chest, fierce and silent. This would not be the end. What they mocked today, what they dismissed, would one day be their undoing. I can still see those childhood evenings in her kitchen, the counters dusted with flour, the air thick with the warm scent of dough and sugar. She hummed old tunes softly, guiding my small hands as we rolled the dough together, her patience infinite, her presence comforting. The smell of fresh bread, the sweetness of warm cookies, the sound of her laughter, these were the pillars of my earliest memories, woven into every corner of my mind. Yet even then, the world around us refused to see it. My parents dismissed her passion outright, muttering that she was wasting time, while she silently endured their scorn, never raising her voice, never asking for recognition. I can still feel the sting of flashbacks from school days, friends mocking her at bake sales, their whispers sharp, carving deep, invisible scars in my own pride. Each laugh echoed a cruel verdict. Her talent, her love, was not enough. Her hands, worn, gentle, and steady, told the story no one else noticed. Every crease, every callus spoke of decades of unacknowledged labor, each dish a testament to her quiet devotion. And then, I found it. A hidden collection of her handwritten recipes, some smudged with tears, others darkened by spilled coffee. Each page told a story of perseverance, of talent ignored, of love unseen. The sting of betrayal clung like smoke. Family meals stolen, credit denied, her brilliance dismissed as ordinary. I remember one rainy night sitting across from her as water streaked down the window, hearing her whisper, voice breaking, "They'll never see the worth in what I make." The weight of it pressed against me like a vice. Every insult, every laugh, every dismissive eye roll now fuels a simmering fire inside me. That anger coils tight, silent but potent, promising reckoning. And in that quiet fury, I make a vow, as resolute as stone. I will honor her legacy. I will make the world recognize her genius, and I will do it no matter the cost. I began documenting her recipes in secret, camera in hand, capturing every detail of her hands kneading dough, stirring rich sauces, whispering tips she had never shared outside the kitchen. Each movement was deliberate, graceful, a silent rebellion against the years of dismissal she had endured. The family noticed my obsession almost immediately. Whispers followed me wherever I went. "She's being overly sentimental again," one cousin muttered, rolling their eyes as if my devotion were a weakness. Their mockery stung, but I ignored it, knowing this was the first step toward vindication. At first, Auntie hesitated, cautious of attention and exposure. But slowly, she began sharing more complex dishes, her trust in me growing with each passing day. I watched her confidence bloom quietly, like a candle that had been smothered for too long, finally reigniting. Even outside the home, ridicule followed. At work, friends laughed when I brought leftovers for lunch, sneering, "Ancient grandma food, really?" Their comments burned, but I smiled through the shame, knowing the real audience, the world, had yet to witness her brilliance. I created a social media page, carefully curating posts that showcased her dishes under my guidance. Likes trickled in at first, then surged as the page gained momentum. The thrill of strangers commenting, "This looks incredible," and "Who made this?" sent shivers down my spine. Auntie's name began to live online, untainted by family ridicule. And the family's curiosity turned to bitterness. Every like, every share, every comment mocking yet secretly admiring the dishes fanned a quiet fire of envy. Their sneers grew hollow, impotent against the growing recognition we were cultivating. Then, a mysterious message appeared from a celebrity chef. His words hinted at genuine curiosity and undiscovered culinary talent. My heart raced. This was more than attention. It was validation from someone who mattered in a world that had ignored her for decades. Late-night planning sessions in the kitchen became our secret rebellion. The air thick with the scent of spices, her laughter now mingled with cautious excitement, a melody of hope and defiance that had never existed in our home before. The tension was palpable. Every session, every post, every whispered word weighed heavily. I wrestled with the decision to expose the family's ridicule publicly while guarding Auntie's dignity. The stakes were higher than I had imagined. Every move had to be precise, every risk calculated. And yet, in that quiet chaos, I realized the truth. The world would soon see her worth, and when it did, the scales of power would finally shift. The phone buzzed late that night, sharp and unexpected in the quiet of the house. An unknown number flashed across the screen. I almost let it ring out, until a voice, rich with charm and unmistakable authority, filled my ear. "I've heard about your auntie's cooking. I want her recipes." For a moment, everything inside me froze. Shock and disbelief crashed over me, my fingers trembling as I replayed the words in my head. Someone out there, someone who mattered, saw what my own family never could. The validation we'd been denied for decades had finally broken through the walls they built around her talent. When I told Auntie, she didn't smile. Instead, fear and pride waged war across her face. "Will they steal it?" she whispered, her voice fragile, tears glinting in the dim kitchen light. She had been robbed before, of credit, respect, dignity, and the wounds still lived in her eyes. I took her hands in mine and promised protection. Not just reassurance, but a plan, real control over how and when her creations would be shared. Not a single dish, not a single note of her craft would be taken without her consent. Emails from the chef came next. Detailed, enthusiastic, unmistakably serious. He wanted to feature her on a high-profile culinary show, a spotlight that would elevate her legacy far beyond our small, mocking circle. Meanwhile, the family carried on with their ridicule, oblivious to the storm gathering outside their narrow world. Their arrogance dripped from every comment, every smirk, every eye roll. They had no idea that the ground beneath them was already shifting. Auntie's confidence began to bloom slowly. Her voice grew firmer, her hands steadier as she agreed to step into the exposure she had spent her whole life avoiding. For once, she wasn't shrinking. She was rising. I prepared everything. a master list of her recipes, secret backups stored in multiple folders, and the first steps toward legal protection to ensure her work remained undeniably hers. Every line, every ingredient, every detail was fortified against theft. And in that moment, the turning point crystallized inside me. We were no longer victims of their mockery. The power was shifting, settling into my hands, into hers, and for the first time in our lives, I knew exactly what to do with it. I arranged a private tasting for the family, presenting it as a casual dinner. Every dish was meticulously prepared by Aunty, each one a testament to decades of love, patience, and skill. The air smelled of roasted spices, baked breads, and something else: anticipation. The first bite landed, and gasps rippled through the room. The relatives who had sneered, whispered, and dismissed her talent were now frozen with disbelief. Their eyes widened, hands paused mid-motion, and silence swallowed their arrogance. I let the moment hang before I revealed the news: the celebrity chef's invitation, a high-profile feature, acknowledgement from the world beyond our small circle. Their shock was palpable, words caught in their throats, hesitation painting every movement. Uncle tried to recover, spluttering a joke, but the laughter died immediately under the weight of admiration from neighbors silently observing. Their smirks faltered, their bravado evaporating. Aunty, calm yet radiant, spoke next. She explained the origin of each recipe, the decades of unacknowledged labor, and the love she poured into every dish. Her voice was steady, proud, carrying the weight of years of dismissal and finally commanding the room. Social media notifications pinged incessantly, documenting the event live. Every like, comment, and share amplified our vindication, broadcasting the reversal of power to a world that had finally seen the truth. Cousins attempted mockery, half-hearted jabs, but the live cameras and public attention silenced them instantly. Their ridicule had no effect now. It was meaningless in the shadow of real recognition. Legal counsel confirmed the intellectual property protections, locking down her recipes so they could never be stolen or misused. Her craft was untouchable, her genius legally and publicly secured. Privately, I confronted the relatives who had hurt us most, recounting every insult, every sneer, every eye roll. Their dismissive words now hung heavy in the air, reversed in humiliation as the truth of her skill shone undeniable. The room, once filled with laughter at our expense, now vibrated with awe, respect, and quiet regret. Every glance carried the weight of understanding that for decades they had been blind, and now they could no longer look away. Auntie's recipes soon featured on the celebrity chef's show, each dish celebrated nationwide. Her talent, long ignored, was finally recognized, and the praise poured in from every corner. Fans sent letters, gifts, and messages, sharing stories of how her food evoked comfort, nostalgia, and the warmth of home. Each note was a testament to the love and care she had poured into every recipe for decades. The family, meanwhile, avoided mentioning the incident entirely. Their silence was a subtle acknowledgement of defeat, a quiet shame that lingered in the corners of every gathering. I watched Aunty laugh freely for the first time in years, unburdened by ridicule, her joy spilling into the room like sunlight breaking through clouds long held. Legal protections ensured that her culinary creations remained hers, untouchable, a tangible victory that stood as proof of our fight for respect and recognition. Our private recordings of her cooking, once secret and hidden, were compiled into a professional documentary, immortalizing her skill, her story, and her unyielding spirit. I reflected on the long journey, the humiliation, the anger, the careful planning, and the ultimate execution of justice. Every moment, every setback, every spark of doubt had led to this triumph. The kitchen, once a place of pain and secrecy, was now a stage of victory. Warm light cast shadows across her proud, smiling face, highlighting the depth of her accomplishment. Even the family began to treat her with hesitant reverence, a quiet acknowledgement that the wrongs they had done could no longer be denied. I felt a profound satisfaction, knowing that the years of mockery had been transformed into recognition, legacy, and empowerment. Her brilliance, finally unveiled, shone untarnished for the world to see. I faced the camera from our bright, bustling kitchen, the aroma of fresh pies filling every corner of the room. The light catches the steam rising from a tray, warm and inviting, and I feel the weight of everything we've endured pressing gently against my chest. I recount the journey, the relentless mockery, the hidden pain, the countless nights of planning and quiet rebellion, all leading to the moment the world finally saw her brilliance. My voice is steady, yet trembles with emotion, carrying the gravity of years stolen and reclaimed. I reflect on how small acts of scorn can ignite monumental change when met with patience, strategy, and unwavering belief. The lesson crystallizes clearly. Respect is earned, not freely given, and talent dismissed by those closest can shine across the globe when nurtured with care. Auntie's joy fills the room, her laughter full and unburdened, the ultimate proof that justice, recognition, and love prevail against ridicule. To anyone watching, I offer this mantra: protect those you love, honor their craft, and let the world see their worth. I encourage aspiring cooks, creatives, and underdogs alike to persevere, even when mocked, dismissed, or underestimated. Their time will come. Patience and persistence are the secret ingredients. I show behind-the-scenes moments of Aunty teaching me her craft, her hands guiding mine, sharing secrets of flavors and techniques, moments of trust and intimacy that shaped not just dishes, but our bond. I tease upcoming collaborations and expansions of her culinary story, a promise that this is only the beginning, inviting viewers to be part of her journey and witness her legacy grow. I close with a reflective smile, the soft lighting accentuating the warmth of triumph, leaving the kitchen glowing around us, and viewers inspired, moved, and emotionally hooked, knowing they've witnessed the rise of a talent that was once ignored but is now unstoppable.